Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig, it's 9 o'clock, it's time for another video, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hang on, what the hell is he doing here? It's not a Tuesday. We normally just skip Magic TV on a Tuesday because we know Matt's involved. The rest of the week is meant to be safe. But no, Matt's here on a day that is not...
What are the figures like on a Tuesday?
In the toilet.
Plummet.
Plummet? Do they really?
Plummet, hear that, plummet. Plummet's my words, it's his words. He's the one that checks the stats.
Are they bad?
Plummet.
Yeah, terrible.
Plummet, yeah.
Everyone hates Matt.
Having you on Magic TV is the equivalent of Jack Perry and the Young Bucks being on AEW.
No clue what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody will understand what I mean. Anyway, but however...
So we're doing videos hoping that one person's going to understand what the fuck you're talking about.
I'm talking about wrestling. There's a lot of wrestling. Anyway, look.
Is it really that bad on a Tuesday?
Bless. It's not. It's not as good as some of the other days. Most of the other days. It's the worst day, is what we're saying.
Is it the worst day of the week?
I think we did an interview with somebody once and it didn't really catch on and it got slightly less views, but generally, as a rule, I do this out of sympathy. It's pity more than anything else, really. No, we're joking. They get really good views. They get really good views. I don't like his sad face.
Puppy dog eyes.
I'm just thinking, why the fuck do I keep having to come in this room if nobody's watching?
It's just like I felt like I'm taking a puppy around the back and shot it. No, they're very good.
Just waste of time, isn't it?
No, they're very.
Hold
good.
on. So if this isn't a Tuesday, what day is it today?
This is. It could be a Thursday. It could be a Friday. It's one of those two. We don't know when Michael's picking it.
So what are we doing?
We are going to be not doing anything to do with magic. Instead, we did that talk a couple of weeks ago about approaching groups.
Oh, yeah.
You remember? We talked about that. And if you remember, Sarah came to the window at the end and
I remember that.
Scared me. Yes, you remember that.
Scowled at you.
Yes. Well, people really like that chat. And I thought that sporadically on the channel, we could do more chats about various different subjects related to the magic industry. And
you just said this isn't anything to do with magic.
It's not. It is, but it's not. I thought that you and I, and it was suggested in the comments to that video actually, that you and I should have a conversation about sales. Oh. Because there's a lot of magicians that are not very good at selling themselves. And my background is in sales. The very first company I set up and ran was a sales company. It was called Magic Force Promotions in Leeds many, many years ago.
Such a strong name, isn't it? Magic Force Promotions.
Yeah, and I've been involved in sales my entire life, worked for various different sales companies, and you have been involved with many, many sales companies over the years.
Many. And
we've worked in every single type of sales. We've done telephone sales. I spent a long time doing door-to-door sales. I trained people on how to do door-to-door sales. I don't think you've done door-to-door. I've done business-to-business as well. I remember working with virginbiz.net, going around business to business, knocking on business owners' doors, trying to sell them a website for Virgin, back when nobody business had a website. Like, I've done face-to-face marketing for so many years, and you've obviously had some very high-pressure sales jobs. And now, within this company, we both do sales as well.
We do?
Yeah.
When we're not sitting here waffling on about
When we're not
bullshit.
sitting here talking about bullshit. So what I thought we could do is have a conversation about sales. And, because it's been requested. Like, there's magicians out there that have a website, and the website's very good. So it generates leads, which is very good.
Okay.
And those leads get converted into inquiries. Mm-hmm. And then when people put inquiry forms in and leads in or email people, what does that magician do that's trying to get more gigs? What do they do to get that person to go from an inquiry to a booking?
Hire me.
I'm not letting you go, ever. So they're going to have to come up with another...
Somebody save me!
In terms of, in all seriousness, how
I'll work for lunch. Just give me lunch every day and I'll come and work for you.
Really? Is that a thing?
Not for you, no.
Damn.
Although you are getting lunch today because I won a bet.
Yes.
Which is actually quite relevant to this conversation.
Yeah, because he fucked himself over to win a bet.
Yep.
Because we had somebody inquire for a close-up magician in
Falmouth,
miles away.
It's about as far south in the UK as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
It's a 5.5-hour drive from here.
And they specifically
One way.
went on the website and said, we want you. Mm-hmm. And you were like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, well, in order to make it worthwhile, in order for you to make money, and in order for the company to make money and to cover the costs of actually processing this whole thing,
charge 4
and the
times
VAT and
more
everything,
than
we'd have
normal.
to charge 4 times more than our standard quote. I'm like, there is absolutely no way on God's green earth. And it wasn't like a big corporate event or a big wedding. It was just a house party. I'm like, there's no way somebody's going to pay 4 times the more than they're going to pay in order to get you to go to just do a couple of hours close-up magic at a house party.
And they had another guy that's local to them
That was charging 100
that
quid.
was willing to do it for 150 quid.
Yeah.
It was.
And I was like, they're going to go with him. They're not going to go for the... I wouldn't go for the quote for you. Like, nobody would. And you were like...
Challenge accepted.
And I was like, he was like, I bet you lunch. I'm like, all right, I'll buy you lunch if you get it, because there's no way you're going to get it.
Within an hour.
So anyway, today I'm getting lunch.
I mean, I screwed myself over, and that customer's having to pay 4 times more than she would normally.
And you're having to do an 11-hour round
And I've
trip.
got to do an 11-hour round trip to do a 2-hour close-up gig to 40 people in a house, but it's worth it because I won.
So enjoy your lunch.
I'm going to.
But that's sales. I mean, the reason that you were able to turn somebody who had already been given a quote for 150 quid and get them to pay a hell of a lot more is because...
Yeah, it's not 4 times more than 150
No,
quid.
no.
It's 4 times more than they would normally have to pay us.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And
A lot of money.
And
For me.
And that on top as well. I mean,
that.
it was ridiculous. So how do you go from taking an inquiry and turning it into a booking? What's the process? And I thought we could have a bit of a conversation. You took, because we've got very different approaches, similar approaches in many ways, but also different approaches. And I thought we could have a chat, and hopefully people that are watching this that want more bookings and they want more gigs and they want more, they want to convert those leads into bookings. It will be advice that they can follow and use and hopefully get something out of.
Okay.
Do you want to start?
Just be nice, which is where we differ because you're a bellend.
You are very likeable on the phone. I will give you that, and on email.
It's my job.
Yeah, you're very, very nice. What we're talking about here, from a sales point of view, is building a relationship with the client at the end of the phone. You have to very, very quickly, when you speak to somebody, whether it be over the phone or you're emailing somebody and you're speaking to somebody over email, you've got a few seconds to get them to kind of go, oh, I really like that guy.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that you do it, and I see you do this all the time, and we take the piss out of you in the office, but it is such a really good technique. Now, we had different sales mentors, so I don't know if you call it the same thing as me, but like mirror matching and relationship building. So in other words, you pick up on something that they say, so it's kind of like, hey, I'm looking for a close-up magician for my wedding in Shrewsbury. Oh, right. And you'll hear Matt say something like, oh, right, where are you getting married? Roughton Castle. Oh, Roughton Castle is an amazing place. Absolutely love it. Rode my bike around Roughton Castle because I'm a biker, don't you know? I ride bikes. And he's already on this, he's building this relationship and talking to them, not like a person who's trying to sell to them, but as a friend. And that's a big thing of what you do.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just build rapport with somebody. If you can relate something that person said to you so that you've got something relatable to say back, it doesn't matter if it's about magic, it doesn't matter if it's about the wedding or the function or whatever it is. If you can speak to somebody just on a human-to-human level about something that interests both of you, then you're building a rapport. And then instantly, a rapport is another word for trust. And if they trust you, then they're going to give you their business. So you're it's not just, oh, okay, so I'm getting married at a castle in Shrewsbury. Perfect. Well, what we can do for you is we're going to turn up here and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to be able to make your guests have an amazing time and blah, 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 blah. And you're skipping the whole getting them to like you thing. And then in their brain, they're just like, okay, they've gone straight into, this is what we do. This is how we do it. We can do this. And it's very structured and it's very scripted. And they're just selling stuff to me. And people are so, conscious these days. People are so hardwired that the second somebody tries to start selling them something, people just shut the fuck down.
Yeah.
How many times do you answer a phone in a week and it's somebody from God knows where going, hi, have you had an accident in the last fucking 3 years? Or I'm calling on behalf of your cable company, or I'm doing this or whatever. And you walk into any shop or anywhere and people are trying to upsell you, and everyone's just trying to grab every single penny they can from you at all times. And that's just the culture that we live in nowadays. Whereas if you can have a conversation with somebody that hasn't got anything to do with money, you're just having a conversation about something, it's kind of refreshing that they're just like, oh, well, this person hasn't gone straight in with the hard sell. Mm-hmm. And I specifically make a point of saying, like, we don't do the hard sell here. We don't need to. Because we don't. We're mega busy anyway, and people know that we're busy. And if people are saying, like, it gets to points sometimes where I'll back off on the sales thing, because people are just like, okay, well, it sounds amazing and I really want to, but I can't make a decision right now. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, whoa, I'm not asking you to make a decision right now. I'm not asking you to. Like, I'm not doing the hard sell. We don't do that here. We don't need to. We're busy anyway. Just take your time. And and then you just have to relax people, because it's the second people feel like you're trying to sell them something, the walls go up. And then a lot of the time it's how quickly can I now get off the phone, because I don't want to be pressured into doing something I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. If you can relax them and reassure them that you're not doing the hard sell, that you're not pressuring them to doing anything, then you can keep them on the phone.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they will then come to the decision themselves that they are now comfortable enough to spend that kind of money to get something that they called you because they wanted anyway. And all you've got to do is just help them down the line. Just help them get to the point where they realise that they can't have their wedding without you, and they'll buy it from you.
Absolutely. Very, very true. Let's talk about as well, because this is something that you're masterful at, creating FOMO, fear of missing out. First of all, what is FOMO and how can you create it? Because I'll give you an example of something, because we sit opposite each other on the sales desk, and I hear you doing this all the time. The second that somebody will ring up, you'll build that relationship with them, but then you'll ask them for the date. They've asked for a quote, they've asked for a price, you ask them for the date. And regardless of what the date is that you've been given, it's like, whoa, I don't know if that's going to be possible. Oh my God, well, you're only trying to organise this event 7 months early. We're getting booked up 8 months in advance now. This is, it's an example of fear of missing out, right?
Yeah, so it's not that cheesy, but yeah, regardless of what date people are coming for, there's always a reason why that date's going to be busy. So, and a lot of the time it's true. So if people are I had somebody call up NSK end of last week, and they wanted a date over Christmas, and we were full. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. We're full, and they were just like, it's April. It was like, yeah, it's April. And they're like, and I was like, yeah, I know. But Christmas is the busiest period of the year for us. We're an entertainment company. Mm-hmm. Christmas is our busiest time of the year by a mile. People will literally have a party over Christmas, call up the following day and book us for the next year. Yeah. Because it's that busy. So I could do the day after. I can't do that date. And they were absolutely gobsmacked. They were already booked up for December. We've got bookings in for December 2025. Yeah. Christmas 2025. So we get booked up super, super, super early, and people don't realise that. And then if somebody calls you, you just put that kind of emphasis into the conversation, and they're just like, oh, well, yeah, it's not till like March 2026. And I'll be like, yeah, March is like the start of wedding season. And they're like, excuse me? And it's like, March is like a super busy month for all magicians, because it's smack bang at the start of wedding season. It's the start of spring. So if it's a weekend date, I am going to have to check availability first just to make sure that we're available. And they're like, oh, I didn't think there would be an issue being like over a year in advance. And it's like, well, we normally, a lot of people book weddings sometimes years in advance. And with it being right at the start of wedding season, I'm not saying that we're not available, but I am going to have to check just to make sure that we've got that date available before we carry on. And they're like, oh, right, okay. And it just puts that little seed of doubt in their mind of, holy shit, like, what if I can't have this for my date? And then all of a sudden they've given you the exact date, and that's the date of their wedding, which can't be changed because it's their fucking wedding. and you've made them like you straight away. So then all of a sudden it's just like, what if he's now not available on the only date of next year that we can do?
Yeah.
And it's that kind of fear of shit. And it's just a really tiny little seed that you plant, just saying, look, I'm just going to have to check availability before I go through any prices with you, because it is the start of wedding season and blah, 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 blah. And then you just get people going, oh, crap, okay, we are going to have to get a wriggle on and get this locked down. And then that gives them the kick to make the decision themselves that they need to do this sooner rather than later.
That's really good advice. Okay, got another question for you, because you're quite good at this. How much information is too information?
That sounded like a compliment.
It was.
Yeah.
It is. You're actually quite good at this. One day, if you keep going hard enough, you'll be better than me. So, next question. I had to bring that
I'm not
compliment
saying
down.
anything.
Yeah. We should have a sales competition. I'd wipe the floor with you.
We've done that before and I won.
No, you didn't. We haven't done it before. Fuck off. No, we haven't. I'll have a sales competition. I think that'd be a good idea.
No, because the only winner in that's you. If we have a sales competition, even when I win, you're still going to win.
Sounds good to me.
No,
Don't see a downside.
that's why we didn't last time. I remember now. It's because I realised very shortly afterwards that you were just trying to play me to get extra sales.
No, I don't need to
Because
do
you
that.
know I'd see fight. If it meant I was winning, you know I'd be sitting here till fucking 9 o'clock at night doing it.
Yep.
And then I'm like, hold on, the only person that's actually going to win in this entire scenario is you. Because even if you win, I would never hear the end of it. If I win, it means that you've got shitload more sales than you would have normally done, because I've sat here till 9 o'clock making sure that I win.
I don't see a downside. I don't see a downside.
Which is why we didn't do it last time.
Sounds like a Matt problem. So look, how much information should you give somebody? Because I remember my sales mentor many years ago turning around to me and saying, keep it short and simple. Kiss it, don't kill it. Keep it short and simple. Don't keep it long and lethal.
Nah, bullshit.
Well, I believe, and this is maybe where we differ, you should. One of the things that I see a lot of people do is they give somebody too much information. It's like they tell them everything, which they don't need to know. They need to know enough information.
It's a really simple
in order
answer to this question.
Yeah.
You give somebody as much information as they need.
Yes, but how do you know how much that is?
You have
Because
to work out the
in
type of person that it is. Everyone's completely different.
Yeah.
Someone will call up and go, I've got a wedding. How much is a magician? It's this much. Okay, great. Give me your details. Let's book you in. Done. Some people are that simple. They just want to know how much it is because they really want a magician at the wedding. That you don't know how much research they've done on your company. They could have sat on your website for days looking through all the different magicians, Googling different magicians that cover our area, and they've come to a decision on their own, because a lot of people do that. They really like your website. They're a fan of what you do online. They've checked out videos. They've found Magic TV through the bloody website and everything else. And they've gone, actually, yep, these guys are great. They're professional. They're a company. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this forever. I want those guys. How much do you cost? Okay, yeah, perfect. Let's do that. Brilliant. There's no point overselling that person at that point. They've made a decision already. That's what they want.
Yeah.
Other people call up and they haven't got a fucking clue how it works. Have you got you're magicians, right? Yeah, perfect. So you do magic. That's what we do. We're magicians. Yeah, perfect. I've got a wedding in like next month, because some people leave it that long, and go, how much would a magician be for like 7 hours? Why would you want a magician for 7 hours? Oh, I don't know. Is that not how it's done? That person needs information. You need to go through information with that person and let them know what it is we do, what to expect from the day. Because if at that point I just went, oh, okay, it's this many thousands of pounds for 7 hours for a magician, and they go, okay, you're fucked. What are you going to do then? So you then need to explain to that person that having a magician at your wedding for 7 hours is probably not the best idea, and they could save their money and spend it on something else. However, if you wanted a magician for 2 or 3 hours, it's going to be this much, and this is what we do in this amount of time, and blah, 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 blah. So that when you get there, they know that you're not going to be serving the fucking drinks.
Yeah.
Because people expect entertainers to be able to do everything that you could possibly imagine. So you're not coming up here and serving the drinks and then helping us do the speeches and doing a comedy bit at the start and then jumping up on stage and doing this. You're not going to help us take all the balloons down and everything later on. You're just here to do magic. Yes, we're magicians. But people don't know. So people that need information, give them information. There are also people that call up and ask you questions constantly. Like, if somebody asks you a question, answer the question as articulately as possible. Give them the information that they're requesting. So you have to know, by gauging the conversation that you're having with that person, how much information they need. And you give that person the amount of information that they need to be able to come to the decision that you're the best one and they should book you.
That's very good advice. So on that subject, what is a close? How do you close, and how often should you close? Because again, my strategy, and this was taught to me by my sales mentor, is always be closing. Because what I would rather do,
Such an old school
but it fucking works for me at any rate. You know, everyone's got their own different way of doing things.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You're completely different to Liz. Liz is very matter of fact, but she gets bookings. You're very different to me. I get bookings, you get bookings. We're just trying to have a conversation about the right way and the wrong way to do that. You think it's very old fashioned, and that's cool. My attitude is, from my point of view, what I mean by close is a statement that is designed to get that person to go, yes, I want to book you. So it might be, hey, you know, would you like me to get this all booked in for you? Would you like me to get this booked in and secure that slot before somebody else gets it? That is an example of a close. It's something that you say to stop the conversation and initiate the booking process. Now, my attitude is, very quickly, I think of an impulse curve. So what I mean by that is, as you're giving information to the person at the end of the phone, you're basically impulsing them. You're basically getting them excited about what it is that you offer, building that relationship with them to a point that they're going to want to book. Now, with this impulse curve, it starts down here, where they've got no interest in you at all. You've given them no information. As you give them more information and you're selling them and you're giving them that information, you're getting them very excited about the product or the service, their impulse level goes up. They get very excited. And at this point, that's where you're going to be able to close them very, very easily. The problem is a lot of salespeople give them too much information. And at that point where they would have booked, they continue to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and give them more information they don't need to give them. And if you close there, you might not get them to book in because you've given them too much information. It's like what you were saying where you go, some people, they just want to book in. It would be like having that person go, how much do you charge? We charge this much. Oh, great. That's fantastic. Yes, and let me tell you why we charge this much. And spending 15 minutes telling them, they're going to eventually go, fuck this. So my attitude is, there's no problem closing early, because if you close early, they're either going to say yes, in which case you've got the sale, or they're not going to say no. They're going to go, oh, okay, that seems really interesting, but what about this? They're going to request more information. And at that point, you can carry on with the pitch and carry on impulsing them some more, and then close again, and then close again until you get the sale. So that's why I think it's important to close multiple times. However,
I don't like...
No, you don't do that.
No, I don't. I don't like closing until they're ready to be closed. So if you're... I think nowadays, again, people can tell when that's happening because people are so conditioned now to be being sold to constantly, like media and even in shops and stuff, everything POS and, you know, everything is like sell. So I think when you're on the phone and it's a big decision and it's a lot of money and there's so much choice as well, that if you constantly try to close people before they're ready, it's just going to put them off. They're just like, all this person cares about is just getting the money. They don't care about us or, you know, our wedding or our function or whatever it is. So I'm really careful about asking for the close until I think that they are ready to be closed. And you're absolutely right. You can't go too far, but you need to do it at the right time. Like, I ask for the close here. I don't ask for the close here and then here and then here and then here. I just wait until I'm there and then do the close. Because I think it's really important that you come across as caring about them and what they want and making sure that the booking is correct for them and they are getting the best out of your company and the magician that we send, and it's catered to them and it's bespoke and it's exactly what they want for their event, even though the vast majority of what we do is exactly the same per wedding or per... If you've gone into detail with this person and told them exactly the information that they want to know, because people care about different things, you know. The amount of times that I've had, and it's like, oh, are you going to be able to do tricks for the kids that are there, which we would do anyway, but if they've asked about that, it's important to them. So then you go into making it a little bit special for them. You know, we normally only do magic for adults, but I've got this incredible magician who he's more than capable of doing incredible magic for the kids as well. And the amount of times he's gone to a wedding and we've performed for the kids, and they've ended up being like the Pied Piper. The kids end up following around, just wanting to see everything that they do. And I can make that happen for you because we've got this magician in your area and blah, 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 blah. So it's something that every magician that we have does. Every magician that we have goes out and they have magic tricks in their pockets for the kids. Because you have to. But they don't know that. So then all of a sudden they've asked a question. That's something that's important to them. So because it's important to them, you emphasise the fact that we're going to do this for you.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Good call.
At that point, you wouldn't then just go, so you're going to book this then? Because you don't know if they've finished. It's not like, oh, we can do this. We can cater this to you. This is bespoke perfectly just for you. And we've got this guy that fits amazingly into your wedding. Brilliant. You're going to book then. Because then you've gone to the effort of making them feel super special to then destroy that with one question. The question I go with is there anything I can do? Anything else that we can do for you? Is there anything else that you're concerned about? Is there anything else that, that you want specifically? And if they say yes, you ask what that is. So then we've gone up to here, their expectations and their level of excitement has moved up because you can get them a magician that does exactly what they want them to do for the kids. Perfect. Yeah. Is there anything else? Oh, actually, yes, there's this thing. Okay, well, let's sort that out then. So you haven't asked for a sale yet. You've asked if there is anything else that you can do.
Yep.
And then they're like, okay, cool. Is there anything else? Well, we actually... because we've got quite a big group of people, is there any possible way that you could do, like, a trick at the end to the entire room? Close-up magicians don't really do that. It's not really a thing. You need a cabaret magician. However, we've got the guy that we've got that's coming to you. He's an exceptional stage magician that has his own stage act. So it's not something that we would normally do. However, if you wanted him to, he could jump up on stage and do a trick to the entire room. No problem at all. We'd just take something out of his cabaret act. Don't tell anyone because it's not something we would normally do. But because he's going to be there anyway, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I'll check with him, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely fine. Perfect. Still haven't asked for anything. Still haven't asked them for a sale at all. And we've just worked our way up and worked our way up. Anything else that's concerning you? No, don't think so. I think that's everything. Brilliant. Should we get this booked in then? Once. Ask them once when they're up there.
And as I say, this is the whole point. I don't do that, as you know.
No.
I will close a lot earlier, but I do it with a cheeky smile on my face. I've built a relationship with them, and there's no right or wrong. Is the point?
No, if it works, it works. The ultimate goal is to get the sale, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everyone's got different styles, same as magic and anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's got different ways and means of doing things. You just got to find what works for you.
Now.
You can be nice and approachable and lovable. You can
we
be
go.
A bastard. It's entirely up to you, whatever works for you.
I couldn't sell anyone if I was a bastard. I'm only a bastard to you. I'm going to ask one more question because I don't want this YouTube video to run too long. But if you guys are
exactly, I've been waffling about this stuff.
Yeah, a long time, and you've got to get back in and sell some shit.
I've got to go on lunch. You've got to buy me lunch.
Fuck that shit. I know, I have. I'm aware of this. But I've got one more question. But if you guys want to see a further follow-up interview with me and Matt having a discussion about sales and getting more deep into some of the more specifics, because we've literally just not even scratched the surface here. But I'm going to ask you one more question that I know that's going to come up. And it's relatable to the competition that you've just won. Turning negatives. So what I mean by negative, for people that don't do sales, is the negative is what salespeople will say if you've pitched somebody, you've closed them, you said, hey, should we get this booked in then? Mm-hmm. And they go, oh, I'm concerned about this thing, I'm concerned about that. They're not saying no, but they're giving you a negative. It's a request for more information a lot of the time. And how do you take that negative and continue to do the sale? So perfect example, you are pitching somebody, charging them a fuck ton compared to what we would normally charge them, and they're like, oh, I've got this magician that will do it for 150 quid locally. How do you take that? Because a lot of people have that. A lot of magicians will go, oh, it's a nightmare. I'm not getting any bookings at the moment because there's people out there that will do it cheaper. How many times have you heard magicians at conventions or kids entertainers go, oh, there's this mascot company that will do it for 50 quid. So no one's going to book me. It's a thing that any entertainer is even bands and singers. Oh, how am I going to get a gig as a singer when there's Boris from down the road that will do it for 50 quid or whatever and a pint in the pub? So how do you get somebody who's been given a quote for 150 quid and they're booking in with you at a fucking massive more amount of money? How do you do that? Because that's turning negatives, basically. That's taking that negative that person's given you and turned it into a positive, and you've still gone and got the booking.
I did, yeah.
And that happens all the time.
And do, regularly. It's... I don't want to say exactly what I say.
No, I'd rather you do it, yeah. We have to keep some secrets in this company.
But it's basically... you're not kind of... What I think's really important is if they say, I've got this guy, he's local to me, he'll do it for 150 quid. It's really important not to start slating that guy. Because you don't know who he is.
Could be a family friend.
Could be amazing. He could be a family friend. He could be great at his job. He could be a brilliant magician that's just started out and this is his first gig, so just to get his toe in the water or whatever. Or he could have been doing it for a while, but he's trying out new stuff or whatever. There's a million reasons why that guy is only charging 150 quid, right? Could be experience. It could be a multitude of things. So the last thing that you want to do is start attacking that guy to make you look better. Because that's never going to work. All of a sudden, you look like Goliath and they look like David. And people are always going to side with David.
Yeah.
So if you start slagging that guy off to try to make you look better, all you're going to do is make them go, oh, I feel bad for him, I want to go for that guy. Yeah? So you have to elevate yourself to a different level without putting that person down.
Yeah.
So I mentioned with that lady that the price point is vastly different, and generally speaking, when the price point is different, it's due to experience. And then it's like, look,
Hang on. And I love the fact that it's the price point is vastly different, of course, of experience. A fucking year ago, you were on the fucking internet, going up in smoke and mirrors, going, I don't know what to do.
But I've done 60, 70 gigs since then, anyway. So,
sorry,
and at that point, I wasn't even selling me. It wasn't until after that she decided she wanted me. But yeah, we're a company. We've got the name of the company. We've got your name as well. People can just Google you and then realise that we're not pissing about with this. Like, this is what we do for a living. And there's a massive difference between, a company that does this every day and does thousands of events every year and works with the kind of high-end companies that we work with and do the kind of events that we do. There's, regardless of how good this person could be, there's always going to be a massive difference in the reaction that you get and the performance that you get and how your guests are going to react to the type of performances that we do as a company. And again, I'm trying really hard. This sounds that I would never say it like that to a customer, but I'm trying not to say exactly what I said. But you have to elevate yourself without putting the other person down. The last thing that you want to do is start slagging somebody off, because it's just going to make you look like you're trying too hard. And nobody likes it when you diminish somebody else for your own personal gain. So don't do that. But you just have to emphasize the difference between booking a local independent entertainer of any kind of genre against the level. I emphasize how difficult it is to become a slightly unusual magician. For most of them. For me, I just had to do a YouTube video for 13 weeks. But for most of them, it's really, really difficult to become a slightly unusual magician. And this is why. Yeah. And then you go into the details of why our guys are so good and why our company has been going for so long and why our company does thousands of events a year. And just don't focus on putting that guy down. Focus on building yourself up more and let that person then make the decision. Right, okay, so that's why they charge more money. So if I want my guests to have an amazing time, that's the option to go for. And I know that I've got to spend more money, but it's going to be a memorable event and blah, 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 blah.
I had somebody while you were off ring up Slightly Unusual, and I booked them in, and they were like, okay, I've had quotes, you're more expensive. why is it we should go with you? And it was somebody who was specifically wanting me. And I said, look, I don't know who else you've had a quote from. I can't talk to you about how good they are or aren't. I imagine that if you've got to the point where you're putting an inquiry in with them, they're going to be very good. And that's all well and good. But I can't say anything negative about them. All I can tell you is why you should book me. And one of the reasons that you should book me is I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. I've performed in every single situation you can imagine. I've never had anything but like praise heaped on me from every client I've ever had. And the other thing is, I'm considered one of the top creators of magic in the world. So in other words, when you watch other magicians, there is a very good chance that they're performing magic that I've created. But guess what? I don't actually teach everything I've created. When you book me, a lot of the stuff that you're going to see is stuff that nobody else does. I've created it specifically for me and for my performances to the people that hire me. Now, the reason I bring that up is because that's something that I can say about me that's a unique selling point. I can actually bring that up and I can say, hey, I create magic. I create a lot of magic. A lot of the stuff you're going to see me do is very unique. Nobody else is going to do what I do. That's true. I'm not lying. That's a positive. That's something that I can say to a client that's a real positive, that's a unique selling point. So you need to think, what is it that you can say to the people that are calling you up that is unique to you, that will make you stand out? Because if you just go, oh, well, I can come along and do 2 hours close-up magic. Okay, well, everyone else can. I can make your guests really happy. Well, everyone else can. I'm going to do lots of different magic, and they're going to really enjoy that. Well, everyone else can. And this is the problem that a lot of magicians have. When they're pitching, they're not actually selling themselves.
Yeah.
They're selling magic.
Yeah.
But they don't need to sell magic because that person's already inquiring about having a magician. You don't need to sell the magic. You need to sell yourself. And the easiest way to sell yourself is by offering a solution to the problem that they don't even know that they've got. Think about why that person is inquiring about a magician. They're inquiring about a magician because either A, they really want a magician, or they've been to an event where there's a magician, or they've perceived that there's something happening at their event that a magician could fill. Figure out why they want a magician and then show them that you are the person that can solve that problem that they have by pointing out to them something about you that's unique. It's why Slightly Unusual is an illusion act. Do you know, you might not even know this, do you know why Slightly Unusual is I know it became the name of the company, but do you know why I set up an illusion show?
Because you like attention.
No, that's not the reason. Genuinely, do you know why I set up an illusion act?
No.
Bearing in mind, I had no clue about illusions at all. When I set an illusion act up, I didn't have a fucking clue. The reason I did it is because I was sitting down and I was trying to figure out what my unique selling point was. And I couldn't figure it out. I was the same as every other close-up magician out there offering everything else. And then I looked round, and at the time, well, still now, there weren't many illusion acts.
No.
There were like 4 or 5 illusion acts, and that was it. And I was like, Russ, who was my business partner at the time, I was like, Russ, we should do an illusion act. Why? Well, if we do an illusion act, we're going to stand out. Even if somebody wants close-up magic, by offering illusion show on our website, we become kind of a bigger deal. And we do. Every time we go to an illusion act, it's like, oh, here's your green room, here's your meal, here's your dinner. Please, can we do anything for you? When I go to a close-up job, a lot of the time, it's like, yeah, mate, disabled toilets are over there. Go get changed in the nose. By letting people see that you're an illusion act, it elevates you from the eye, and that's why Slightly Unusual was set up as an illusion act, because it was a unique selling point. It allowed us to do something that other people didn't do. That's why. And now, these days, when I sell myself, it's because I'm a creator of magic. I can create bespoke. I'll say to people a lot of the time, tell me what your theme is. To a corporate client, tell me what your theme is. Tell me what you're doing. I will custom create tricks for you, specifically for your event, and they will be used once and one time only at your event, and they'll be used again. How can you do that? Well, that's because I'm the creator of the year 2 years in a row, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. That's a unique selling point. What's your unique selling point? I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Like, our unique selling point is that we are slightly unusual. Obviously, when people are calling their clients, they can't say that. So yeah, find something that's unique to yourself. It's very difficult to give examples without knowing who that person is. But yeah, find something that's USP has been a sales term forever and a day. Unique selling points. That's what USP means. find something that's unique, find something that's different about you, find something that makes you stand out, and use it. And people will, you need to make yourself memorable when you're and make yourself so that they can't have their event without you. That's the main focus.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I think we stop right there because Lizzie's going to have kittens if we don't get back in there. And you
owe everyone lunch.
And I owe everyone lunch, so that'll be fun. Thanks. Look, do you want to see another one of these? We have literally just scratched the surface. If you'd like another advice with Matt and Craig session, talking about sales or anything, let me know and we can make it happen. Right? I'll just drag you in here.
I don't know why you're asking me. It's not like I've ever had a choice with any video that's ever been filmed in it.
Never. It's just like, Matt. It's just like, Michael, get Matt. Oh, fuck, here we go again.
Yeah.
He doesn't even prep. I don't prep him. He doesn't know what he's doing until he sits down and I switch that camera on. He's got no fucking clue.
Not a clue.
Not a clue. So if you'd like him to sit in here and have not a clue, and you were great today. This was really good. You were awesome. Very good advice. Well done.
It's so suspicious whenever he gives a compliment.
Yeah.
No, it was. It was really good. It was really good. I got nothing negative to say. I thought you were fantastic. So if you want to see more of Matt's wisdom, then please let me know. We will be back again very soon with another video. I'm Craig. You don't even have to say bye. I'm not even going to make you say bye because I know you find that uncomfortable.
It's real.
Yeah. This is Matt.
What's going on?
This is Matt. He's awesome. I'm Craig. That's Michael behind the camera. We'll be back again on Magic TV very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.